Hey guys, welcome back to Hammer Videos. So today I'm going to be comparing a couple of Vortex mixers, well 3 actually. I did plan to compare these two models, but then 4E's recently got in touch with me and decided to send me this spaceship looking thing. This first one retails for about £80 to £100 and has these little rubber feet and a dedicated power supply. The second one is the cheaper one, which is about £35, and this has these little suction cups and also has a dedicated power socket. The newer, larger 4E's model, which sometimes goes under the brand of Lab Genius in the United States, also retails for around £86. It's got these 3 chunky rubber feet to spread the vibrations, and whilst it has its own dedicated power socket, weirdly this is micro USB. It also comes with this large USB-A socket on there, which I thought was for something cool like profiles or some kind of firmware updates, but I've been told it's just for charging your phone. However, in my experience, when plugging it into my phone, it didn't actually charge, and I know this cable's good. As I said, the first one's quite hefty, weighing in around a kilogram or 2 pounds 3 ounces. The larger one's a little bit more hefty, weighing in around 1.1 kilograms or 2 pounds 9 ounces. The final one, which I said feels flimsy and cheap, weighs in around 0.2 kilograms or a fifth of a kilogram or around 7 ounces. I decided to test the vibrations these units gave off, so I balanced a stack of dice right next to where I would be using each one. I could show you all the footage, but instead I'll just tell you that not one of them was able to knock over this stack of dice, so I'm quite happy that none of them are giving off too many vibrations. So how are they when it comes to mixing? Well, I can tell you how it feels, but I can't easily show you that on camera. So I decided to go with something really thick and chose these oil paints. It's all I've got lying around really that are thicker than my normal acrylics. But no matter what I could do, none of these mixers would mix too thick oil paints, so that was out of the window. In the end, I decided to go with some Dulux silk emulsion that I had lying around and put equal amounts into the bottom of these little pots. I then added 20 drops of Gryph-hound orange contrast paint to each one. Then I used each Vortex mixer for 30 seconds so that I had comparable results. And I'm happy to report that this image here reflects exactly how these units feel when I'm using them with my hand. The middle Vortex mixer is insanely powerful, you can feel the vibrations of this going up your arm. And the cheaper black one was worst of all, in fact this hardly even mixed the paint, not enough that it's visible here. Whilst it does work to a degree, I had a bit of trouble with this one because the suction cups on the bottom weren't gripping and the thing was just bouncing across my desk. However, I was surprised to see that the larger, often more expensive one was nowhere near as good as the smaller middle one, especially considering the larger unit boasts almost double the RPM. My assumption here is that the bearing that causes the vortex motion is further away from the central point on the smaller 4E's Vortex mixer. So despite it being a much lower RPM, the wider arc on each rotation exerts much more force on your bottle of paint. But is this amount of extra force even necessary, or is it above and beyond what we get from the cheap £30 Vortex mixer? Well, for 80–90% of my paints I'd say no, but if like me you've got a lot of brands with thicker paints such as the Army Painter or Scale Colour, then I'm super happy that I've got the more expensive option. Time and time again I come to things like the Citadel metallic colours where this smaller cheaper Vortex mixer just won't do the job. Though in all honesty I could just hold the paints on there for a lot longer. As for which one you should consider buying, well, if you've got the money spare, then go for the more expensive mini Vortex mixer. It's brilliant, it mixes my paints, I've had mine for about 3 years now and I'm super happy I got it. However, if your budget's a bit tight, then I do still recommend this cheaper one. It does the job at the end of the day. And whilst yeah, it's less than half the price, please just be considerate that it's also less than half as efficient. And as for the larger spaceship thing, well, thanks 4E's for sending it me free of charge. I'm really happy I've got an extra one, but I'm sorry, I can't recommend that to anyone here. It's the same price as this smaller mini one, but it's nowhere near as good. And just to preempt some of the negative YouTube comments I expect to get, yes, I am fully aware you can just shake paints by hand, but for people like me who've developed RSI-based wrist issues over the years, these things are an absolute godsend, especially when we're using thicker paints. Here's a quick thanks to our patrons. Please let me know what you think of this video down in the comments. What sort of paint mixer do you use? Are you the sort of person who would spend money on this? Or are you the sort of person who would get a drill and sellotape a paint pot to it? Let me know. Anyway, that's all from me. See you next time. Hammer out.